Hi, good. How you doing? How you guys doing? Welcome back. We haven't been in a while on. It's been a few months since we had some interviews going on. Last season, we interviewed several. Checking them out on our Boma concert tours, YouTube concert tours, or my Facebook page. We had great guests. We had Robert Conti back then. We have Ron Moss, legendary manager, and the greatest bassist of all, Nathan East. Great guitars, a good friend. We are talking about his new album called Rust. This is Darren Bowden, and this is him right here. Hey, man, how you doing?
Hey, how are you, Marcelo? So good to
Doing
see you,
awesome.
man.
It's been a long time. We'll catch
Way
up.
too long.
We'll share some of our childhood memories, but it's great to see you. That you're doing great music. I love this new album that just came out 2 weeks ago.
That's exactly right. Yep.
2 weeks. This is the album cover for Rust,
Thank you.
and a lot of great guests, a lot of great songs, melodies, rocking. Some are very interesting melodies and songs. Tell us about how you started doing music because you have two records. This is your second record, so
Yeah.
tell us or share with us how about your background in music and how you started playing and recording and your whole
Yeah,
experience.
absolutely. Well, it's great to be here, man. I was really lucky when I was young. I had two sisters who were 10 years older than I am. So they introduced me to Led Zeppelin and a wide variety of like 70s rock. So that really influenced me. And I think when I was like 11 years old, I was looking through a Sears catalog and I saw this rock guitar, this electric guitar, and I was like, I have to do this. So my brother, who and a good friend, we went to the local store in Dallas and we used instruments. We mowed lawns. We threw newspapers. We did everything we could to get those instruments. And I actually started on drums. So that really started it all. And then I heard AC/DC, and I'm like, I have to play guitar. So that was the shift, and just always loved writing, loved writing poetry and lyrics, and just that was the start.
Were you self-taught?
Yeah, absolutely. I had no idea what I was doing. We had no business playing those instruments. I think when I first started playing guitar, I played it in my lap with my hand upside down. I was just trying to figure it out, but
Country
it's
style, like with a slide?
a little lap guitar. Yeah.
So you were playing drums and Duane was playing guitar, or was it a combination of switching back and forth?
Yeah, he was playing bass, and of course, he still plays bass. He's playing live in Dallas all the time. He and I played when I got a little older. We began playing clubs in Dallas. The whole club scene, the Basement, Dallas City Limits, On the Rocks, all the popular rock clubs. He was on bass, I was on guitar. It was all original music,
What was the
and that
band
was
called?
Prodigy. Not the
The
Prodigy
Prodigy.
everybody knows, but yeah, it was great, man. We had a great time. We were playing around clubs when Pantera was really popular, and some of the great local bands. But yeah, we played together for years, and he was amazing to play with. We just had great chemistry on stage. He started a family. I formed a different band, and that band was Square One. We played into the '90s, so more of that grunge influence.
Uh-huh.
But it was so funny, Marcelo, when Duane and I started playing clubs, we had X's on our hands because we couldn't drink.
Yeah.
So we were on stage playing all these clubs and, had no business being in there, but it was a lot of fun. It's very cool.
So you were like 18, 19 back then. So
And that's exactly right. Yep. Late '80s, early '90s.
you guys ever opened up for any bands as a support act for any big bands coming down?
Yeah, I think playing around Pantera, it was crazy because we used to play around with those guys a lot. And I remember they opened a club in Fort Worth after they
Made it.
began really having success. And the opening night, they let us open the club. And that
Oh.
was really cool. It was crazy to see Dimebag Daryl with a video camera
Uh-huh.
videotaping me. I'm like, this should be the other way
We
around.
around.
Yeah, yeah, that was those were great times for sure.
Funny you mentioned that them too, and I always thought of you guys as that even back then when we met and we that you guys could have been something like an Oasis, like a Black Crows, like a Pantera kind of dual brotherhood of musicians playing, and I guess in somehow you guys did, but you're now always doing on your own different projects, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we still connect on music all the time. He's still my best friend. And I love that he continues to play. I mean, he's such a good bassist, and it's so cool. He's been around music forever, running music stores, and he worked for Fender and PV and Line 6, a lot of, really great reputable music brands over the years.
Hmm.
And it's awesome to see what he's done as well. It's very cool.
So he's still playing and doing his own thing.
Yep.
So you've done two records. The first one, Sage, and
Hmm.
then this one, Rust. Tell us about those records and how the first one a little bit, and then we go into this one.
Sure, absolutely. For some reason, I think I only want to name albums one syllable. Like I think the next one has to be one word, one syllable. But it's the first album was I didn't really know what I was doing. I play all the instruments myself. So I don't know if you can see this is kind of the studio here, but you can see the
Awesome.
drum kit over
Okay.
there. I have all the recording equipment here, the mixing board.
All the trinkets that need to be.
Exactly. So it's kind of cool doing it all yourself. Of course, you miss that camaraderie of being in the studio
Hmm.
with other people, but Rust was really it was 8 years ago. I desperately wanted to do something that I would be proud of. So I did that album. I'd been writing for it for a couple of years, picked the best songs and did it, and was really fortunate to have Doug Pinnick of King's X
Hmm.
sing on a song and play on a song, which was very cool. But yeah, and Sean Perry, a really great singer who I played with in the 90s, grew up with him as well. Went to Skyline High School in Dallas. He sang on about half of the songs on that album. So just an amazing guy, amazing singer. So that was Sage.
Yeah. And now, Russ, was this a product of COVID, or was it just you wanted to continue on doing something that that you
Yeah,
wanted to?
I honestly think it was Marcelo. It was, as you know, one of the main reasons I stopped focusing on playing live and everything was I began getting a corporate job and flying all over the country and working for a lot of different great retail brands. Lived in Ohio twice, Florida, lived in the New York market twice. That's where I live now. But my life was so crazy busy during those years. And I lost both of my parents right after I put Sage out. So I think, I didn't have a lot of uh, motivation for some reason at that time to really pursue it.
Yeah.
But in the last 2 years over the COVID time period, I'm like, I don't have to drive into New York City every day. I can save a little time and every night, every weekend, I worked on it. So yeah, I couldn't have done it if this hadn't happened for sure.
Yeah, and a lot of people that have the project. I mean, this project as well. I started almost 3 years ago doing interviews while my wife was working, and then we didn't have nothing to do, so I just could continue on. This is the third season of doing this thing. It's very fun, and it's funny how you find that you have, I guess, either more time or less time to do stuff, but you try to figure out new hobbies, or you start picking up on old, instruments, or things that you used to do, and kind of gets you involved in something else and kind of puts you away from all that distraction of the real world at some point when you're back home and you have your own setting.
I totally agree, man. It's like, and I think in a lot of ways, it's more the the real world or what it should be for us because it's like finding your passion again. I think a big theme of my album is about, losing yourself to others. So, living a life that others expect of you instead of like doing the things that you're
Your own
passionate
thing.
about. Yeah. So it's been really cool to experience that again. I mean, just playing an instrument, writing a song, and being, having that amazing feeling like just being totally alive. I miss that a lot. So it's
And you
been,
said you recorded. I mean, you recorded a lot of the stuff, instruments, bass, drums, vocals, guitars. Was that in that home studio, or did you go
that,
into another home studio, or
this
all
is
home?
it in this little room, man, all here.
Great. And plus the vocals from Chris and
And Sean.
Sean. Yeah, were those sent out to you, or those in your studio?
Yeah, so I sing on one of the songs. Chris sings on 8, and Sean sings on one.
Hmm.
Um, so Sean, of course, my vocals are here, and I did all the vocals myself, and then partnered with Chris to do most of the vocals. Sean actually came here to the studio to do his vocals as well. So it's a crazy world we live in. When we were kids, you go into a studio, you had to do it all right there.
Yeah,
And today, it's like I can send all these files. I met Chris. He lives in Nashville. He was actually a top 10 American Idol
I was
contestant.
reading that. That's kind
Yeah,
of very cool.
yeah, absolutely. The first time I heard his voice, man, because I was working with an audio engineer who was doing the mixing of the album.
Uh,
He lives in Nashville. It seems like everybody lives in Nashville.
It's the new Mecca.
It absolutely, if you have any interest in writing a song or playing an instrument, it's like I've got to move to Nashville. But as soon as I heard him sing, man, I was like, this is the guy. He has to be the one to do these songs. It was just
Mhm.
like it was perfect. So super happy with it. I think he said he's never put so much of himself into a project, which was
Which is
really
good.
cool. Yeah. So you can feel the emotion, when he does it. So it's pretty
Great
cool.
voice, great power to it. But my personal favorite is your song.
Oh, silent
Sing
conversation.
more. Silent conversations. That's, I mean, just the feel of it. I guess I don't know. I mean, I like the song, all the songs that on the record, but especially that one, I guess, because it's all you.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
I really enjoy that song the most. I liked all of it. Even the piano piece, but that
mhm.
one in particular, for some reason, kind of, I guess I don't know why. It's just that's the one that attracts me more because it has a lot of the voice sounds great, the instrument sounds great, and now you play everything, so
Yeah.
it's all of you, besides the guest, but
That's I really that means a lot. It seriously does. I think we all hate our own voices.
uh-huh.
But that means a lot. I think even though I don't like my own voice, there's some authenticity there. I'm being myself. It's real. And you're such a music aficionado. I think you pick up on that. But I really do appreciate that. Now, see, Marcelo, now what I'm going to have to do is send you all the music that of all of these songs with me singing them because I have
Oh,
those.
awesome! That'll be my
And just to get your
yeah,
get
my
see what
personal
you think.
yeah hard drive
That's
on
right.
the car and just have it all. Yeah, because I mean the first one that opens up. I mean, animals, yeah, vocals. I mean, the guys is just like powering up and it's just a great sounding, and his the way he sings and it's the aggression of it and the whole bit. But that other
Mhm.
one has that other feel. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just me, but I have the feeling that somehow it has that Texas sound. Is it? Do I catch it up? I mean, it's not a twang, but it has a Texas sound. I mean, I don't know if I'm correct or not, but I feel that it's like a Texas feel to it.
Yeah, that's my roots. It's that, it's ZZ Top, Billy Gibbons influence. I can't get away from it. It's just a part of who I am.
Correct.
So I appreciate that. It's a huge compliment. I take a lot of pride in coming from Texas and playing that way and singing that way. So, and I think Chris's voice, he's very. It was funny. So I have to tell you something. There was this younger person I work with. She came up to me and She was like, I just listened to your album. It's amazing. She said, but normally I don't like country. And I was like, country? What are you talking about?
That's not
But
necessarily
she was
country.
like, but sounds like crossover. It almost sounds like rock and roll. And I'm like, oh my God, you know,
But
but
I guess it's a Texas feel because I mean it's not country but it's like rock. But plus a lot of country now sounds like rock.
exactly. I think that's where she was coming from is
Mhm.
her only version of country is this
That
newer
sort of
version.
vision of yeah,
Exactly. It's not like Merle Haggard and Billy Bob's,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fort Worth kind of thing. So,
Conway Twitty and all that.
yeah.
That's funny that somebody would take on that. Listening to the album as a country album turned rock.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
Doug Pinnick, how does that relationship come about? Because I know you are friends,
Mhm.
and he played on your record, and you can hear the bass just right away in that song.
I
It's
told the sound. Go ahead.
it's Lifeboats, right?
Lifeboats. Yeah.
Yeah, just you can hear the bass just kicking in right away.
Yeah. So Marcelo, I told the sound engineer, I said, give the bass a little more love on this song, right?
Of course.
Um, of course, he's legendary. Yeah, man, to have Doug Pennick play on this album was amazing. King's X is my favorite band of all time. You can ask anyone who knows me. Just super influential to me. Um, and there, oh my God, how did you find that, man? Oh my God, yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Doug is in the black T-shirt there, making a funny face.
Yeah,
And Jerry
legendary band.
Gaskell's on the right. He's the drummer, and Ty Tabor's on the left, the guitarist. And they're just amazing. They're about to come out with a new album
Yeah,
here
the two
shortly.
ball, the two ball guys in the middle. Those are the guns.
That's exactly right. But it was so cool, man. He because we had worked together before, we're good friends. I think we text each other, one at least once a week, if not more. He said, "Hey, man, I want to play on your album." Like he came to me and asked. So it was a great privilege to have him play, and he had a great time doing it. So it was very cool.
How do you guys connect?
Uh, I think it was by me just like never leaving them alone when I was younger, when they first hit the scene in the early 90s and they were huge, like they were on MTV all the time. I went to every show. I was in the front row. I met them, I think, backstage at one point. He and I started at that time, there wasn't even email, I don't think. Yeah, that's right. So we would like literally write letters to each other
Wow,
and
pen
just
pals,
connect
pen
with them.
pals.
Pen pals. That's exactly right. So he was touring, we would write to each other. It was awesome, man. And then just have remained friends.
Wow. I remember back in that time when I lived in Dallas, it was funny how, and it was great how many shows, we could see every weekend. I mean, not just the rock shows. I mean, you could have Chuck Berry playing at the municipal park, or you could have whoever doing this, then there's a jazz thing going on, and there's a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
And I guess that influence comes with it too, because that experience of just great shows every weekend. I mean, we got to see together. I guess you and I saw Judas Priest and Ted Nugent or something, and it was just every weekend there was something going on. You couldn't spend back then it was $30, but you couldn't spend $30 every weekend because it was 60. Because we're young, we get a ride or had to bring a friend. So
Absolutely, man. Reunion Arena. Remember all those
Reunion
shows?
Arena, all those
That's
great
right.
shows. Man, I saw the Purple, yes,
Uh-huh.
and at work. I don't know.
Yeah.
So Judas Priest, Ted Nugent.
Yeah.
I forget who else I saw there.
I remember writing on the calendar like the different shows, in the coming months or whatever. And it was almost every weekend that we would go to it.
Yeah,
And
we had
you
that
had to get the
privilege.
t-shirt. You had to get the t-shirt as
I
well.
remember walking into school, like when the police came down, walking on the halls. Everybody had that blue, yellow, and red T-shirt because they had
Oh,
just
that's right.
gone to see the police and said, "Man, I should have gone to the show." But it was there was no information of what was going on every weekend. But you saw because that guy went to see Duran Duran because I already had that Duran Duran shirt, right? Or the
Oh my
Aussie shirt,
God.
the one with the guy with the Aussie going like this, and
Yeah. Yeah. You had to have it, man.
you got to have it. was
Hmm.
$25 or whatever back then. Now it's like $50, $80. So, what are your plans with this record? Are you going to do any kind of showcasing on this record? Are you plan to playing it live at some point? Is it going to wait to people to hear it besides Spotify and every other medium available?
Yeah, great question. So everybody's asking me that same question. I think there's a lot of desire for me to get out there and play. I may do something like an acoustic set here locally outside of New York. It's something I'm thinking about. I just worked out a deal with a marketing agent, a marketing rep, who is going to really help me get the music out there. Beyond people I know, my own network. So yeah, looking forward to. I'm open to doing it. Of course, if we do it as a band, if we really do it,
Uh huh.
I'll have to kind of figure out who I want to play with, invite my brother to join me,
Yes, please.
that kind of thing.
I have a great friend also that lives in New York, so I could probably spend a weekend or something and hang out with these two crazy guys. Look at that,
Oh man, you're killing me. You
man.
know,
I I
well,
I have so many fond memories of your brother because he was so always cracking up jokes and making you know it was a great experience. So
absolutely.
that showcase, and then also that I saw online, and I started buying LPs again. So I ordered mine LP for September is the release of the actual LP for Russ, right?
That's exactly right, man. Thank you for doing that, by the way. Yeah, and vinyl right now is crazy because the material itself is very hard to get. So all the artists are backed up. Like you can't get vinyl for 6 months because it's so backlogged, like so many other materials right now. But so that's how long it's going to take. So September is the timing.
The day to go out.
Yeah,
Now
but
going
there's
to
a big demand for it too. It's crazy,
I
right?
know there's a lot. Yeah, there's you can. I mean, I've heard that Adele's record had to be, uh, I guess, planned for whatever time because she was not able to get it on that same date, whatever many copies she wanted. So it's all planned because there's no way to get LPs or vinyl out.
Yeah. I mean, it was she ruled the market with vinyl so hard that people like Ed Sheeran and Taylor Swift and Elton John, they were all having to wait for
Hmm.
her to get her album out and running.
So we should
Uh,
start thinking about putting a Texas-based LP pressing company.
Absolutely. Hey, man, there you go. We can quit our day jobs right there.
I know it's not expensive. I mean, the actual machine I think is not that. I mean, it's not that expensive, but
Right.
if you're popping out babies like that, why
I
not?
know. It's so true, man. It's a crazy world.
So going through the songs, Animals, Silent Conversations, my favorite one, Dishes, Pirouette, Lifeboats, In Your Hands, You Don't Know Me, Couldn't Call, In My Time, The Letting Go. Now, Broken, that was an
Mhm.
interesting piece because that's like the calm before after the storming. That's like okay, everything happened, all this information, all the, breakups and makeups and all that. And then you go back to so peaceful. It's like a cinematic piece. Would you call that?
Yeah, so there's an interesting story behind this one. So I actually wrote that when I was in college. I was a music student at that time, music composition class. So this was kind of a classical piano piece that I wrote. And several months ago, I was cleaning out my garage and throwing all these papers away. And I looked in the trash, and the corner of the sheet music was sticking out. And I was like, well, wait a minute, let me check that. I pulled it out, and there it was, the only copy, handwritten, sheet music.
You write music, so you're not just like I'm gonna pick up the bass and do it. You write the music, which is awesome.
Yeah, for that particular piece, I hand wrote everything, the piano piece. So I somehow saw it, saved it, and then I found Alex Joaquim, who is just, I mean, you hear his playing, he's
I
ridiculous.
know the
He
the
just,
the touch of it. I mean, it's so delicate. It's like a cinematic piece.
Yeah, yeah, and it's interesting you say that because his profession, where he, of course, he writes music for a living like crazy, but
Mm.
where he really makes his money is in the cinema. He writes
Of
musical
course.
pieces for film. That's what he does. So it's interesting that you say that because well, obviously I wrote the piece, but the way he interpreted it was just beautiful, man.
Now you wrote it for piano? Or was it just that you wrote it for a guitar? Or you just wrote the melodies, or how was it?
Yeah, I wrote it for piano. I was not a pianist. I When I went to college, I had no idea what I was doing. All these other students had been playing since they could walk, and they were amazing. And I really, really had to apply myself just to keep up. And but yeah, no, I painstakingly wrote the whole thing. But there was no way today I could just play it by sight reading. So that's when I found Alex, and he played through it a couple of times, and I was like, oh my god, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, he just did a wonderful job with that. Couldn't be happier.
Even the recording of it, I guess it's a different. Uh, I was in his own studio or not, but it was just the way that the surroundings of the recording. It's so particular that it's very
Mhm.
very cool.
Yeah, thank you, man. He did it in his own studio. He did it with everything mic'd right.
Uh huh.
He just approached it. Like I said, it was everything that I had in my head. There it is. Like he did it. And like you said, his touch, he can be so aggressive and then so light
Yeah, because
like
it
that.
goes up and then it goes down and then just it fades out in a perfect mood to the album.
Yeah. Thank you very much. That means a lot, man. Very cool.
It's a very good. What's your favorite song? So what's the one that has the more meaning on to you? What's the one that it can makes you go like a little tear? It makes you cringe when you listen to it.
Yeah, I think the Letting Go, the song right before the one we just talked about,
Uh-huh.
it's that short acoustic piece. I think that one is the most special song because I wrote it a week after my mom died. It was basically a song to say goodbye, that kind of thing. It's interesting because I've had a lot of people tell me when they hear it they cry, you know, which is, I don't want to make people cry, but it's a compliment because they connect emotionally to the piece.
Uh-huh.
The sound engineer actually said, well, he sent
Was
me a
crying.
note.
I'm screaming. Was
Yeah,
crying.
yeah. Yeah, he sent me a note and he was
More
like,
than
"Man,
this.
I got to be honest, I teared up a little like mixing that thing." So yeah, but it's that one's special, for sure.
I guess like every musician, every song when there's a feel to it, because you can talk about somebody else's situation, but once you talk about your own and
Mhm,
you put your own touch and feel, it becomes a lot more personal. You can talk about rocking all night or doing this, whatever, but once you touch your own inner self and really want to connect with someone or your feelings,
mhm.
then something different comes out.
Absolutely, man. And I think it's 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 kind of scary, right? Because you have to be vulnerable to do that, to get that process going. Um, and you're right. I mean, look, I spent a lot of time playing in rock bands where it was all just like
Yeah, punch,
slamming you
punch,
over the
punch, punch.
head, you know? But then to be vulnerable, to be honest, to be like willing to share the not just always putting on a happy face for people, but being real, I think it connects, you know? I mean, we're all people, so totally makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's. I guess that's sort of the best way to, especially in albums like on being a solo artist. I guess is that's the best way to present yourself is when you say, "Hey, this is how I feel. This is what I like. This is how I want to project myself, and this is how things are going on in my life." I just lost a dear member of my family, and I'm doing
Mhm,
this, and I'm trying to find my own way back into the life. I mean, I guess everybody goes through that. I'm lucky enough that my both parents are still with me, but they're not too young. They're 89 and 79, so you don't.
wow.
It's a challenge that we all have to sometime go through, and I guess the way you express, it's on your case is through music, which is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's something we all have to face at some point, right? Losing someone we love and going through a bunch of changes in life. And it's interesting. My older sister, she sent me a note after she listened to the album, and she was like, "It sounds like a midlife crisis album to me." And I'm like, "Well, you may be right. Who knows, right?" But that's
Well, it's life. Don't
it
don't
is.
don't judge me. Don't tell me what to do.
That's right. That's what rock and roll is all about, right?
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, it's not easy, but it's not hard either. So
Yep,
let's make it fun. Let's make it fun.
absolutely.
So I would I guess just to share with the well whoever's listening, whoever's checking us out, Darren and I were good friends in middle school back as 35 years ago, 40 years ago.
Don't give it
It was,
away. Don't give it away, Marcelo.
and it's been so great to reconnect in the last few years that Darren and I went to my first shows, I guess, third, fourth, fifth concert was Ted Nugent, I believe, and either
Mhm.
Deep Purple or Judas Priest, and it's been fun to reconnect with someone from back then. Even my wife was kind of uh, surprised that I still have friends from that back then, and probably the only person I still keep in touch with after so many years. So it's awesome how life can bring you back with some great memories and some great friendships, even though we haven't seen each other in 40 some years or
That's
30 some years.
amazing.
But I'm gonna go to New York soon, and I'm gonna visit you.
I love that, man. I love that. And you're so right. I mean, we're really lucky to have stayed connected, have such great memories of you hanging out in our house and listening to all the music and playing the music and going to concerts. It was a great, great time, man.
Yeah, it's been fun. So everyone wants to follow you. This on Facebook, Instagram. That's both of your pages,
Yep.
as well as your web page, and they can order the record. It's an amazing record. Check it out. Not because it's my friend, but it's also a great record and it has a little twang to it. So you should enjoy it. And make sure that let's keep in touch and see if you that when you do want to do something and you have some clips to share, you just post them on our Facebook pages and do something. But it's a great record. I appreciate that you sending me this great note. By the way, oh, tell me about the cover. I love the cover. This is the postcard that Darren sent me with a great message that I won't share because you can't see it. But tell me about the cover because I love the fact that it's an old rust car that your grandfather used to own.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's so we keep that car in this old shed on a family farm, actually in Louisiana. And that car has been sitting in that shed as long as I can remember. I think I remember it being out of that shed once when I was really, really young.
Uh
But
huh.
it has just sat in there and rusted and rusted and rusted over the years. And yeah, I took that picture of the car, and I always thought back on that picture in that car and thought about kind of my own life and how we all age and whatever, but we're still there. And so it was just very symbolic for me, inspired me in a lot of ways. So, and Nick Trentham did the artwork on it, so took my photograph and really just made it totally kick ass. He's an amazing artist, so he did a beautiful job with it. It's very
So are
cool.
you trying to unrust yourself with this record?
Yeah, I don't know, Marcelo. Should the next one be
Give it a
restore?
shit. The new
That's
Darren
right.
coming out and making great music.
Yeah, do some body work next time.
Oh, don't no. Let's keep our faces. Don't touch the face. Darren, is so amazing to hang out with you tonight and
Likewise.
reconnect after so many years. Great memories. Say hi to your brother.
I
You know,
will.
don't leave just yet. We'll stay for a little bit so we can talk more fun stories that we shouldn't be talking about here. but
Absolutely.
thank you all. Please, like this page, share this interview. It'll be on my Facebook page, personal Marcelo Rodriguez, concert tours or concert tours at YouTube. Check out the record. Please do not, make sure you order it. It's awesome. You can stream it on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, all the different outlets. But to me, like, some people, I enjoy just going through this stuff and just reading the liner notes, the little details, the lyrics, and it's awesome. Going back to just, 'cause I still buy CDs.
Yeah,
I'm now buying LPs.
yeah.
So my record collection,
Well,
even from back then, still exists.
absolutely. And actually CDs sound better than MP3s or
Oh
something
yeah.
you would hear on streaming. They're technically so much the
Don't
quality
even
sound
here. I
quality.
have my collection. It's pretty blurry, but I
Yeah,
kept a lot of CDs that people don't like them anymore, and I still buy maybe
yeah,
two or three a year. But it's the way I like to hear music. If not,
yeah,
if it's not a LP, or I have some cassettes, but they don't sound that good anyways.
yeah. Yeah, CD quality is the best, man, for
CD
sure.
quality, it's the best. It's the best way to enjoy. Well, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. I will keep our conversation for a little bit with Darren. This is his record, Rust. Make sure you get it. It's awesome. It has a lot of really cool songs, great lyrics. My personal one, Silent Conversations, that's the one that check out if you can. And this is the car. This is the one that made the Joker. That's the You should restore that car.
I know, right?
It's awesome. Just you
Very
can
cool.
imagine cruising uh New York.
That would be a trip, man.
Yeah,
It would get
just
some looks.
just for once, because finding the parking space will be a pain in the ass.
That's true.
It'll
I
cost you
can
three
tell
hundred
you for
bucks
sure.
just to park the car.
That's right.
All right, guys, thank you so much. And this is Darren Bowden, and this has been a great interview. And connect with him. His social, his information is all here, and check it out. It's an awesome, awesome, awesome record, and
Thank you.
we'll continue on our conversation for a while. Thank you so
All
much.
right. Thank you.